He said, what virgin resounded that you can copy my product, but you can't copy my people. Oh, I'm being noticed more, or the dating game is great, getting compliments. Sort of became the darling of the company. And another year down the line, and the second year I unanimously won that. And they were talking about women in boardroom, women empowerment. It's not that I want to be in the boardroom because you're least in numbers or the document decides that. Now it starts, all of us when we started from college, from school and MBA graduates or whatever we did, when a girl gets married. What happens when she bears a child? Society, it's hormonal, it's self-implication, your body is changing, a lot is happening. And it's written off as, oh, well, it happens with everybody. What's new for you? Well, nobody is helping me and that's what's new for me. Workplace, it's a competitive environment.
Gone are the days when large product and services companies were the brands to look out for. Today, in this AI-driven world, everybody forgets a brand within 6 months. So how do you differentiate yourself? This is where today's guest, Miss Priyanka Kumar, comes into the picture. She is a brilliant brand image consultant, and she's going to talk about how you can carve a niche for yourself and stand out in the industry so that every company would want to hire you. And she's going to give you tips and tricks and hacks on how to make yourself stand out in the clutter. Hi, Priyanka. You are Director India of London Image Institute. It's a leading image consultant institute, and you handle the India segment. So please tell me what image consulting is and how you got into it.
Yeah. So, hi, thank you for having me here. Love being here. So, image consulting per se, put in very, very simple terms, it's a service. It's a service where we help our clients to present their best selves. Best selves in terms of appearance, how they look, behavior, how they conduct themselves, and communication, what they speak, not only literally verbally, but in their body language and etiquette. So a bigger dimension, some people might think it's just very superficial how you come across. Yes, it is how you come across, but it's also twofold, an internal image and an external image. So the internal image being what do you think about yourself at a given stage, and external, how do you present it to the outside world? And the kind person who helps you bridge this gap is the image consultant. And how I got into it is a very interesting journey. So I come from an airline background. So I was heading the India base for Virgin Atlantic in India. Before that, I was a cabin crew. So training came naturally to me. And while being at Virgin Atlantic Airways, I was a company coach. So the concept is about 20 years old. And then I landed up in a job. So I was heading HR for a German company in India. So while I was doing that, I wondered why I was hired for a B2B selling company in a degree that I never had. And the gentleman who hired me, my boss, the managing director he was an American gentleman. And he said, what virgin resounded was that you can copy my product, but you can't copy my people. And such an understanding of brand. And that's why I was hired for the job, that I've got people to do the scientific bit and the other bit. But to brand them, the people standing out, the service element, how you come across, the differentiating factor, as he put it. And I was given no direction. He said, join the company, set up the department, do what you want. And one of the first things I realized that unknowingly, I was branding people or was doing the job that an image consultant does without knowing what it was. One of the first things I did was, have mouthwashes in all the bathrooms, And I told the salespeople, whoever from the director to an executive is going out, say a hello to me before you leave for you. And then helping them, I think you need a pair of ties, I think you need shirts, or, just a little bit grooming tips and tricks here and there. So, and when 6 months down the line, my boss said, I think I made a right hire. Initially, people were like, who's come into the company, this mademoiselle who's trying to change things around here? To a year down the line, when I actually have people telling me how it's helped them, not only in their professional lives, how they felt more comfortable, confident when they went for global meetings and conferences, they started feeling that I'm not too worried about whether I'm looking right because I'm feeling right. And I'm feeling right, I'm confident. The X factors coming in. And it didn't even only happen in professional lives, but it happened in personal lives because they started feeling that, oh, I'm being noticed more, or the dating game is great, or I'm being appreciated, I'm getting compliments. And so I sort of became the darling of the company. And another year down the line, what happened is we had this nomination, the best employee, or, where people vote for who's made a difference in their lives. And the second year, I unanimously won that. Everybody realized that how image consulting is about. I didn't know it was called image consulting. By the way, I was just doing what I liked doing for myself. And that's how it changed. And my boss, he came and said, your cabin's always like a big brother's cabin. There's something happening, something related to how you sit, something related to how you talk, something related to what you wear. So there's something on these lines which is pretty popular in America these days, and it's called image consulting. And why don't you look at it? And that's how my journey literally started. I went looking, I found London Image Institute. I am a proud alumni of the same institute that I teach in, and I'm a partner with right now. So this was the journey. I found Lynn Marks, who's a certified image master, and London Image Institute is a leading image consultant training establishment since last 35 years.
It's really interesting what you said. It's not just how you look, but how you feel. In my career, I also have observed this a lot, that if your mental state of mind, or if you're not happy with yourself, you just cannot crack any meeting. I mean, that's so true, and it's so great that what you do actually influences that aspect of people's life. How do people go around doing that? How can a person differentiate themselves in today's corporate world, and what is the impact that you bring in? What is the need for it in today's world?
I'm just going to answer your question with a personal story, if I may. So, I started my company's brand name is Asil, okay? And it's a Turkish word, by the way. And that's the story I'm going to tell you. So, when I did my course and I walked into, we have a coffee evening before the program starts, London Image Institute. And that evening I was late. Then I was walking in, and we do our programs in Henley on Thames in UK. I walked in and I found a beautiful Turkish lady, one of my fellow students, now my soul sister and dear friend, sitting right there and looking at me. And I was like, a bit strange, but yeah, I was okay, whatever. And then we got on to being great friends. And one of the lunches, she told me that, do you remember the first day when we met and I was looking at you? And I said, yes, of course I do. So she said that, you know what? I understood what my father has always told me. And I said, what is that? And she said, asalat. I said, okay, English, please. What does that mean? So she said, it means dignified. And she said, my father always said that one should have asalat, should be a seal. And I never understood. But that day when you walked in the room, I understood what dignity means. And this is the biggest compliment I've ever received in my life. And when I was to name my company, so we have this little project, I'm sure you know it, that the marketing and the consultant people, they all do these things, is where they run a... So we had to get 3 words from all our fellow participants and all people who we interacted with, whether it was the hotel or the driver and things like that. And this word kept coming up, noble, pure, elegant, it kept coming up again and again. And that was a part of my personality. So when I got back, I had to start my company. I asked her, can I use this? Because there's no other word that resonates. And that's how Asil came into being. Why this little story is that each one of us has this authentic self. And there are hundreds of image consultants today, but there's no one like me. There are hundreds of engineers and whatever profession you may choose from. But there's only you. And to be able to identify that, not get lost in this overwhelming social media or people's word or whatever. And this feeling, this of uniqueness that everyone is good. And what happens is, it's not the environment only that's contributing to you. You are an energy source and you are contributing to the environment too. So to be able to capture that and learn a language which is silent, okay, and be able to show it to the world. Be your authentic self and have the knowledge, capacity, capability, skills to showcase that. That's how you stand out. And that's where people like us, because we are trained. So it's not an, there is an intuitive thing to it. So no two engineers will build the same bridge. So no two image consultants will give the same advice. So there is intuitive energy to it. However, imperative that you know the process, that tools, techniques to be able to build, break, start from the middle and do that. So that's how a strategic thinking with your heart in the right place is how you set your personal brand.
That's so true. In today's world, everybody aspires to be like someone, and everybody is just lost when it comes to what they really are. And that's so sad. It's so sad when I meet young people who are just lost. It's fabulous that you do this. And, you know, uh, to shift the trajectory of the conversation a little bit, um, from an employee to an entrepreneur, tell me a little bit about your journey and your learnings on how to build a service brand, a service company.
It's very interesting. And so what happened with me is I was in this lovely chemical company, the B2B German company that I was talking about, and where I was given this idea that there's something very natural to you, and which is an image consultant. And I was already a coach, so the internal side of it was already being taken care of. So I thought, why not? Fantastic idea. And I went around, looked for what I needed to do, came back. So I was still on my 75%. So I was very scared to jump the gun, because here I was comfortable where everybody knew me, had a great network, had a salary coming in. And more than that, there's a sense of safety. But in my case, if I'm very honest, there was this sense of respect associated with my job, that I'm financially independent, not that I have any problem, but also that people look up to me. That was a big one for me, to give that up, that, okay, and what if I fail? Okay. But when I decided to do that, I'm adding in a little thing that you didn't ask me, but I'll still say this. I think if it reaches out to someone, it may benefit them. So my husband came up, he's a consultant and doing flourishingly well. And he said that he gave me thousands of ideas. So let's import wine, and let's do cheese, and let's, do this, and let's open up that, and a whole lot of things. And I found a reason why not to do it. And then I came up with image consulting. And then everybody was convincing me, what is this really? Is this personality development? Is this styling? And is this fashion? What are you really up to? And I had a reason and conviction to go ahead and do it. Not because they were saying I should do it, but because I knew in my heart that this is what I want to do. And why I used it is because trust your gut instinct. Trust your feeling. Only you know what you really want to do. So once I was sure of this is what I want to do, in spite of nobody hearing about what image consulting is in India, so I started it. And I looked at it in a manner, there are two things. Either I wait that somebody else does it and I hop on the bandwagon, or I do it and become one of the pioneers in making life easy for other people. And I'm a contributor. I'm a learner, I'm a contributor. So I wanted to set up an environment where other people, the young ones like my lovely Aishwarya here, are able to join in this. So that's what motivated me. I took the plan, so 75, 50, did projects for my own company and network, and then eventually phased out myself into a full-fledged, I opened my company, Asil, and around 6, 7 years down the line, had a partnership with London Image Institute. Now, easier said than done. Any new business takes, I'm sure everyone knows this, minimum 2 to 3 years. But a new business, a new industrial, not industrial, but entrepreneurial setup, which nobody's sort of heard of, takes longer. It takes more effort. So when I started, I didn't call it image consulting. So when a client came to me from my HR network, whatever they decided to call it. So one of my initial projects was with in the finance sector, actually. And they were talking about women in boardroom, women empowerment. It's still a popular topic, getting women in boardroom. So it was from my HR perspective, and being a woman in boardroom myself, they came for help, not for help, but guidance seeking. What could we do? So I made a suggestion. Policy is the simplest thing to do, and with this in this AI world, even far more simpler. But yes, then I said, okay, that's great. Let's work on the project on women empowerment, women in boardroom, we called it. But what's the real reason? It's not that I want to be in the boardroom because you're least in numbers or the document decides that. I want to be there because I deserve it. And what can my company to help me to make me deserving? Now it starts, all of us when we started from college, from school and MBA graduates or whatever we did, we were all gearing to do the same thing. I was stopping and so were the guys. Now what happens when a girl gets married? What happens when she bears a child? There's something that changes. It's society, it's hormonal, it's self-implication, your body is changing, a lot is happening. And it's written off as, oh, well, it happens with everybody. What's new for you? Well, nobody is helping me, and that's what's new for me.
Are hormones hai?
Yeah.
That's the attitude.
Yeah, that's the attitude. Or so what? What's the big deal? Well, what you don't realize is that you're battling all alone with this. Okay. And in your workplace, it's a competitive environment, not only with men, but with other women, because of course, it's you're competing with the similar things in life. And at home, something different is happening. So in all this change, what can we do to make our women feel safe, valued? And that's enough. Once that happens, they'll fight for what they need to themselves. They are strong enough to do it. So we ran a program. And so it was simple things like dressing, power dressing rather, facial expressions, how to speak up in an interview, how to command a room, how to interject, how to not feel bad and defy somebody, how it's okay to cry, how your leadership style can be different. So we went through this program with middle to senior managers, and it carried on for quite a while, so 1 year. And by the end of it, when it finished, and we had people who were ready for the role and thought seemed different, themselves and to other people, I turned around and said, by the way, guys, what I've done is all image consulting. This is what personal branding is about. So in these little things, whatever the client decided to call it, I decided to call it that and run it with that name. And people started understanding the value. So to answer your question, it was a different journey. I wouldn't call it was challenging in its own way, because when you open up your own setup and you're all one-man army, you are the office boy and you're the director. You're everything in between. So it's challenging time-wise, it's challenging money-wise. You don't want to say no to projects, you do things that you completely don't believe in. But yeah, you get around, you be there, and once, if you are determined, I think it works fine. It's worked great for me.
Staying relevant in the services industry is really tough. How do you hack that? I mean, you've been in this journey for a really, really long time. How have you done it?
Okay, so of course got to keep yourself updated. There's no second doubt on that. So I have educated myself. I've gone for trainings. I attend conferences. I invest in myself, because in all services industry, you are your product. In all personal branding, you are your product. You are your brand.
True.
And you have to continuously keep yourself updated. That's one part of the story. The second part of the story is your physical, emotional, mental health is extremely important. So when you go and deliver a workshop or you talk to people, it's not about what you've rehearsed in the last 2-3 days. That last minute preparation is important. But it's about how you get up every morning, how you show up in life every day. So what I mean is, physically, if you ask me, suddenly go and stand or work for 9 days or 10 days and offer trainings, by the way, which we do in our courses. So we're training 10 days non-stop. And my mentor, Lynn Marks, who's 80 years old, travels the world around and still does, trains on her own. And you've got to look at her. She'll give any one of us a run for our money. So from people like her, I've learned that You invest in yourself. And by that, what I mean is get up every morning, do what needs to be done, and have a purposeful, meaningful every day, every second. So
What
that's
is
a
your personal mantra for your own mental and physical health? Just give me a glimpse of one day.
just I
Your
start my
food, your exercise. Like, what is it that you do to keep yourself focused?
so I start my day with it has to be yoga or Pilates. One of the things that I do. I do read a lot. I'm into meditation. I'm a healer, by the way, so I think that comes naturally. I have two beautiful, lovely dogs. So they are my peacekeeping mental health little techniques also. And other than that, I'm sorry, I'm an avid follower of the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm a lot into scriptures. If I was to give you one line, or maybe two things here, one, my mantra is Tat Kim, so what? So anything in life I goof up, I learn from that mistake. So at that moment, so what? That came. That's what I tell myself. And the other thing is, I do believe in the concept of Brahman, so which is one world. So all of us, not this world itself, but the universe is one. And here, I'm here on some kind of a holiday. I'm lucky to be on this planet and I'm on some kind of a holiday. And when you go on a vacation, do you really fight? Do you really get into silly things? Or you rather enjoy? So this is what I tell myself. I give myself time. There are emotions and they will come. So I give myself time to look at them and say, okay, yet another day, yet another emotion. And then it's fine. 2 hours, then it doesn't matter. That came, so what?
So, you know, to conclude this episode, Priyanka, if you were to tell me or tell everybody, tell the viewers three things that you can do while you are in the corporate world to carve a niche for yourself, to differentiate yourself, what would those three things be?
Sure. So, yeah, the first one, top of my hat, and which I think I've touched upon a lot of times in this conversation, is authenticity. Be you. You cannot be anybody else. You are you. So utilize that effectively. So use it to your advantage rather than trying to be somebody. First and foremost, authenticity. And by the way, there's a very good film that I'm thinking about. It's called The Great Debaters. If you haven't watched that, a must watch for people. That's what it talks about, being more about you. The second one I would say is invest in yourself consciously. This whole generation of, oh, I learned it over YouTube and AI is good enough. Was great. So learn from, I'm not saying, but still don't completely miss out on the old traditional way. And in Sanskrit or in the scriptures, it's called agami. It's called learning from tradition. It's called learning from a guru. Don't underestimate the power of that. Okay, so I would tell them that even in this corporate life, quick learning, great for quick tips. But effective learning, the wisdom to finally reflect on it and make your own comes over time and with a lot of hard work. So burn yourself. Don't take it the easy way. It's required. As human beings, you're meant to do that. So second would be that. And the third one would be that networking and communication in an authentic way, having reflected on the information that you've gathered. So three are connected. So these would be my three, and if I translate it simply, is what we started our conversation with. It's all aspects of you: appearance, behavior, communication, etiquette. But coming more like from within, not copying. And what I'm trying to say is, now some of you may think that, oh, how important is eating with a fork and a knife and pretending to be a gentleman. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is learn how to do it and make a choice where, when, or how you want to do it. Okay, so equipping yourself and making yourself so full and complete, you're okay to use what you want. So that would be my three things for the corporates.
Priyanka, this was such an amazing conversation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave your email ID in the description of this episode so that people who want to can reach out to you. I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to discover themselves, and you can handhold them in doing that. So thank you for being here. It was just fabulous talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me. Likewise, a wonderful conversation. And I do hope my idea is an aesthetic India and an aesthetic world. When I say that it's a beautiful world, not only outside but inside, and each one of us contributing to that. So please feel free to get in touch with me. Thank you.